What's up, you guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make progressive trance like James. To go along this video, you can get this full template at the top of the description on my website. Make sure to check that out, and let's get started. Alright, so we're at 140 BPM. We start here with the drums. Now, the drums aren't taking that much space in the mix, but there's actually a pretty good amount of complexity going on here. So first I got this kick. You can see it's just one of these big, clubby, kind of like 2000s sort of kicks. It's one that I made here. It's almost more like a trancey, kind of like, but then it's also you could use it in hard techno, right? Then we got a subcut here, cutting it at 53 hertz and converting the bass to mono. Then we got our shakers. So it's pretty simple, right? It's just like 16th notes and then the one on the 8th note. But I noticed this 8th note shaker, you really got to layer it up. And you can see I got the two layers panned, so then it kind of adds that stereo width. Plus this one doing the 16th notes, you can see that little roll there too. I noticed that. Again, these don't take up much space in the mix. They sound like they're not doing much. But there's a lot of little magic going on here, especially when you move up to this clap. Right, so this is one of those kind of like EDM type of clap. We can hear like it has a little bit of a note going into it, and it's not just like a little like a 909 or an 808 like that. Like it really, there's quite a bit of detail going on here. So the main layer would be this one, which is actually more of like a snap kind of layer, right? More of like, you know, that kind of snap you hear in a lot of like hip hop and stuff. And you'll notice I have this, it's a little bit before the beat, right? Like this is the perfect downbeat. This goes a little bit before it. And that's what gives it that sort of sound. If you put it right on the beat, see, it's not that same kind of magic. So what I'm doing is I've got that. You can see I made this really short. And then there's two layers. There's one pan to the left. And then one pan to the right. And you put those together. And it's the same thing with the shaker, and it kind of like spreads it out and just gives it a bit of space. Plus, there's this operator, which even hits like a bit before those do, right? You can see that's on that 16th note. And what it is actually just a bit of noise. So yeah, it's literally just a tiny bit of white noise inside an operator with an attack on it, and then a high-pass filter. And since it's got the attack, even if you put it on that 16th note there, you can see it's like, it doesn't really start right on the note, so it kind of just becomes part of the clap. I've also got a little bit of redux on that too, so it's being high passed, and then you can hear it just gives it a bit more body, and it makes it fit with the claps more too. Cool, and then we got this percussion. So it's really quiet. Like this stuff just really sits in the background, although there's a bit of kind of details going on here. So it's this. I basically made this percussion loop using this drum rack. And then I'm putting redux. High pass and then sidechain. And then there's this one. And so this one's a little bit more complicated as far as the processing goes. It starts like this. And then I'm bandpassing it, distorting it. Redux, auto pan, which just makes it sound like it's sidechained to the kick. High pass filter. And then the low pass isn't doing anything. So yeah, this percussion is really quiet in the background, but it's doing quite a bit, as you can see. Then we move down and we have the bass line. So you can see it's two layers. We got this sub. And then this kind of punchier wavetable kind of pluck bass. So for the sub, it's also a pluck, but it's just a saw wave with low pass filter and an envelope, little subcut, converting the bass to mono, and then side chaining. And then on the wavetable layer, it's just a saw wave with a low pass, kind of same as that, but it's this unison that's really giving it like a more juicy. And when you put them together, you can hear it really fills it out. I'm cutting out a bit of low end on that so it'll fit with the sub, converting the bass to mono, and then side chaining. As far as the notes go on this one, this is following the chord progression. So we'll talk more about the chord progression with the next layer, but you can hear it's got a really steady groove though. Like if you play it with the kick, it's always dun dun dun. Right, and so it's almost like another one of the drums in that sense. So then we got this layer. So what we're doing here is we're in the key of D sharp major, and we're basically doing these are really just dyads, like chords with just two notes. It's just root and third for all of these. So you can see we're doing like D sharp major, F major, G minor. Just like a pretty basic epic kind of trance progression. And then up top what we're doing is we got this. So that's kind of doing like a polyrhythm over top of that. You see there's a lot of action happening just between this and the bass. Like as far as what you hear like in the track, a lot of it is this stuff, right? Now for this sound, we're using a saw wave inside a wavetable here with a nice short filter envelope on it. Unison on classic mode, a little bit of delay and reverb. Usually I like to put delay into the reverb and kind of like let the reverb take the delay trails rather than delaying the reverb. I got a high pass filter on that with this EQ, and then we're just side chaining it. Then we move down to this pluck. So this is this melody here. You can see it just repeats. It's just the same thing over and over, but it's changing over the chord progression. What it does with the chords, right? Now, as far as this stuff, I mean, it's really not that complicated, right? You can see it's really just picking a few voices and essentially just creating a more of like a rhythmic pattern with those voices, like kind of using them almost like drums. And just kind of walking up the scale there. Now, as far as the sound on this one goes, it's 3 layers of wavetables. So it's this one, this one, and this one. So they're all very, kind of subtle, and then they add up to make this really fat thing. Starting with this one, saw wave, low pass filter, envelope, unison. Pretty basic trance pluck, but then the next one is the same thing, but without any unison. So it's kind of layered together and create the best of both. You get like the power of the non-unison one and the fullness and the stereo of the unison. Plus then we got this layer. So you can see this is a sine wave, and then I have this oscillator fold being moved with an envelope as well as the filter cutoff. Put them together and you get that. It's going through a bit of delay on ping pong, so you get a really wide sound, and it helps set this apart from the other elements as well. A bit of hybrid reverb too. I've got this overmuch LR here as the algorithm. A bit of sidechain, and then we're high passing it. And then we got our first piano. So what's going on with this is it's the same chord progression that you saw on the other pluck, right? It's just using a few more voices inside of the chords. Like here we actually have the fifths basically, but it's all just root, fifth, third, and then just kind of inverting them and moving the voices in different places. Same progression though. but this one has its own droning melody. Right, so it's that same thing where you have one melody, but with different chords, it feels different, right? Now for this one, I'm using a piano sample here. I wanted this really like kind of more upright sounding piano. And you can see a lot of reverb. The secret to these trancey pianos is it's a lot of reverb and delay. It really is. I think that does like a big part of making this stuff sound so big. Sidechain, high pass. And then we got one more piano. Right, so we're doing this little melody here with this other piano. You can hear it with the other one, and you can like... Right, you can see that really bounces off the drums well too. And it gets kind of like dark here and like a bit sadder because we're ending actually on the major 7th, which is one note down from the root. Right, if we're in D sharp major here, so... Right, so it kind of gives that melancholic feel. Now, this is that same piano sample. Again, just a ton of delay and reverb, sidechain, high pass. This one I've done a little bit more though, because you can see I've actually got this delay here. Now what this is doing is it's spreading the sound out. And it's essentially doing the Haas effect, but with just like one delay. So you can see I've got the left ear on, basically there's no delay there. And then the right ear is 20 milliseconds later. So you go from this to this. You're literally changing like the distance in time between when you hear the left and right ear. So it creates a very wide stereo image. And it helps when you got two pianos like this, because now this can really stand out from the other one. So that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this template at the top of the description on my website. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.